Hello friends. In today's quotes we're going to start with a famous quote that is usually attributed to Socrates, but Socrates wasn't the one who said it. He got it from somewhere else. He got it from the door of the ancient Delphic Oracle. It was inscribed above the door and it said "Noti se auton," which is Greek for "Know thyself." And this isn't an instruction to take a personality test and find out if you're an introvert or an extrovert or what your dreams in life are. The idea is we want to know what is our essence. What is the nature of a human being? What does it mean to be a human? Do I have a soul? Do I not have a soul? Because the answer to that question will make a big difference in how we live our lives and in pursuing true happiness and true joy. And the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Death falls heavy upon him who is too much known to others and too little to himself." You see, our life does not consist in what other people think about us, and we don't live our lives in other people's heads. It's much more important to know who we are than it is to be known by other people. George MacDonald, famous pastor and author, said that a beast does not know that he is a beast, and the nearer a man gets to being a beast, the less he knows it. And so there's this progression in knowing ourselves. The closer we get to knowing ourselves, the more we realize our potential. But the less we know ourselves, the less we behave like our true nature, then the less we know it. Etienne Gilson, famous Thomist from the 20th century, philosopher, historian of philosophy, said it is totally unfitting for a man to act as a beast because that means the complete oblivion of his own nature and hence his final destruction. There is something that separates us from the other animals. And if we can figure out what that is and then live according to it, we'll be fulfilling our potential and getting closer to that real true happiness that we were made for. But as we act as a beast, we have less and less understanding of who we are. And that distinction between human and beast gets smaller and smaller. And that ultimately will lead to something less than a truly human life, which is what we were made for. Allan Bloom, the author of the book The Closing of the American Mind, says in the introduction, "As it now stands, students have a good image of what a perfect body is and pursue it incessantly. But deprived of literary guidance, they no longer have any image of a perfect soul, and hence do not long to have one. They do not even imagine that there is such a thing." When we understand that we have a soul, and then we can look in literature, right? We can look to the ages of the past to see what that soul is like, see the form of it, its aspects, and then we can pursue it. However, if we're not reading, then we are going to miss out on that image. One of the ways for us to know what it is to be a human being is to look at human beings from all the ages past, to look at what the great minds have given to us, and then start to learn what it is to be a human being, what it is to have a soul, and what a well-formed soul looks like, so that we can then pursue that. Walker Percy, author and philosopher of the 20th century, put it this way: "You live in a deranged age, more deranged than usual, because despite great scientific and technological advances, man has not the faintest idea of who he is or what he is doing." That comes from his great book, Lost in the Cosmos, which I highly recommend. The idea is now we have discovered so much about the outside of us, about the universe, and about the things that surround us physically through the physical sciences, but we've lost touch with who we are. We know more about the outside world than we've ever known before, and yet as a society we have completely lost the image of knowing ourselves. And so the Delphic Oracle's instruction to know thyself still is relevant for us today, perhaps more relevant than ever. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends.